So now this is a very famous plot which is there in statistics, and this plot is
Mm-hmm.
complete on statistical formulas. Yeah, hello.
Yeah, yeah. Hello.
Okay, any doubt?
No, no, no doubt.
Okay. Okay, see, a box plot is based on statistics. Okay, now to understand box plot, we have to like understand statistics here. But just I will just show you a brief introduction about this plot. Once we go to statistics and we learn about a lot of things like median and other things in different types of measure in statistics, then we will again look into this same plot. So now box plot looks something like this. So it this is a plot. So you can see this graph, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is your this is called as box plot. So now here, like if you see there is a box here, and in between the box there is a green line which is going in between the box. So now this particular area of the box plot is nothing but it will tell you where the data is properly clustered. Like it will show you okay where the data is clustered, and this line what you see here, this is called as the minimum value. Like this is the mean value within that, and this is the max value. Okay, so this top line is the max value, this bottom line is the mean value, and this box is nothing but like where your data is grouped together, and in between you have a green line that is nothing but the center. So center of the distribution, that is the midpoint of the entire distribution of data. And here you see some circles are there. These circles are nothing but these are called as outliers. So outliers are something which are like very far from your data, like whose range is very far from the data. So those are kind of like unique observation which might be there within your data, which is not within the cluster. So here you can see this box is nothing but your cluster of data. This line is the mean value, this is the max value, and this is the center value, and these are some outliers. So if you have outlier within your data, you can find it out by using box plot. Also, box plot shows you like where the data is grouped together, where there is a close relationship between the data. By looking at the box range, you can find out those things. So now we will be doing all these like measurements going ahead, like when we start statistics. But now we will just do this plot, and we will try to interpret few information out of this. So for doing this, like I have taken a data. This is just a imaginary data, okay, like a dummy data which I have created. So now you can just read this data file. Then using this data, we'll be plotting a box plot. Okay, first you can go to the same tab which you worked on yesterday, and then try to read this file, and we'll be doing a box plot. Okay, this file will be there in datasets folder. File name is small data.csv. Okay, are you able to read the file?
Yes, I am able to read the file.
Okay, so after that, here you will be getting like here in this file, like in this data, we have 10 records. So in these 10 records, if you look at location, we have two different unique location here. One is your Nashville with an E, and the other one is Nashville without an E. So we have two different locations, and it shows you price of like houses in both of the location. So this is nothing but a house price I have taken in both of the locations. So we have two different location, and now I want to plot this within a box plot, and I want to compare this, saying okay, in location Nashville with an E, what's the price range, and Nashville without an E, what's the price range. So in those kind of scenario, we can use this box plot. So here I have used the box plot, and here I'm plotting the box plot on top of data frame. So in pandas also you have like matplotlib is already integrated within pandas. So now you can also plot your graphs directly on top of pandas data frame as well. So here I'm saying data.boxplot. So data is my data frame here, and data.boxplot. Then I'm passing my column equal to price. So column is your y-axis, like in your y-axis, what value you want, you can pass it in column. It should always be a continuous value. And in your x-axis, you can pass categorical data. Like here, my categorical data is location. So here I'm passing location. So it will show me the price based on location. So now if you see and analyze this graph, okay, you will like first you do this graph, then we will analyze this graph. Okay, you can write down this data.boxplot column equal to price by equal to location. Okay, just write it down, then we'll analyze.
Yeah, done.
Okay. So now see here, to understand this graph, like if you look at the box, here like in Nashville with an E is our first graph, and Nashville without an E is our second box plot. So now here the first one, if you see, it shows below this 50 only there is a line here. So this line is nothing but the mean value here. That mean value is our 15. If you look at the data, that's 15, and this box what you see is where the data is clustered together, and the max value also falls within here, and this value, like there is one value which is very far from the data. The actual max value is very far from the data, so it has considered it to be an outlier. Okay, outlier is like this circle. So now here if you look at the data, you can also see that in Nashville this value is almost 300, but the other values, like if you look at the range, it will be around 100, but this is like more than 200 extra. So that's why it has considered it to be outlier. So we'll understand more about these outliers and all going ahead. But for now, like just to know, okay, there is something called as outlier here. So we can also find out the outlier within the box plot. And if you look at the next graph, that is Nashville without an E. here we have mean, max, and we have a box where the data is clustered together. So here the box also looks good. Data is properly distributed here, you can say, and there is no outlier within the data, and data range is somewhere around 50 to 100 only. So this is how you can figure out the graph. So we can also understand from this graph that Nashville without any house price will be like around 50 to 100, will be less than 100. But if Nashville with an E, the house price is higher than 100. Like most of the house prices are also higher than 100, like as compared to Nashville without any. So like that we can analyze and interpret a lot of things out of this box plot. Okay, so any questions you have on this plot?
No, no, sir. But like this is like what is the purpose serving the uh, box plot? This
Purpose is to see like what's the difference between multiple categorical data with respect to some continuous variable, and also to find out if there is any unique observation, also to see where the data is grouped together, okay, like where there is a strong relationship within the data. Like here we can say the strong relationship is somewhere from 52 to like you can say around 80 something. Okay, there is a strong relationship here within the box. Okay, like data is are more clustered there. Okay, so those kind of insights we can get out of this graph. Getting?
yeah.
Okay, so next today we'll be looking at one more plot, like one more package. Today we'll be looking at one more package that's called as Seaborn. Okay, so Seaborn is also a very famous package which is there in data, there in Python. Now see in the if you look at matplotlib, this matplotlib looks like simple lines and all, and there is not much intuitiveness within the graph. Like they are not that much aesthetic and good. Okay, like color selection is also very bad. Like you saw that it selects some color by its own. Okay, which doesn't look good. Okay, most of the time. So here there are a lot of also graphs which are not there, like as compared to like today's scenario. We have a lot of new graphs. Okay, graphical visualization is very important, and lot of graphs are coming up every time. And you will find out that in data science there are almost thousands of graph here. So now there is a language called as R language. Okay, like Python, there is one more language called as R language. So that R language is also used for data analytics and data study. For data science also, that is the language which is being used also in lot of places. Now that R language became famous mostly because of the visualization, because it has very powerful visualization tools, like different plugins and packages which can do visualization which are of higher, like high end visualization you can get easily by using that R language. So now here also if you look at Python in the earlier days was not that extensive as compared to R when it comes to data studies, because Python graphs were like very much limited. Like those were the simple graphs which were there. But later on, like when people started using Python for data related activity, like Python got implemented in all big companies, mostly contribute to Python community, and they also work using Python. So that's where they also found it to be much easier to do everything using one language rather than looking into multiple things. So that's a lot of data scientists came in, and they created different like packages. Similarly, one such package is Seaborn. So Seaborn is a visualization package which we have here. So it's a visualization package which is written on top of Matplotlib, and it's used for high-level interface for drawing attractive and like statistical graph. So here you have different kind of statistical graph which are there, and also it makes your graphs look attractive. Like if you are using Matplotlib, also you can use Seaborn on top of that, and you can make your graph look attractive. So now like this, we have a lot of packages right now in Python. So Python has also improved quite a lot within these 4 5 years, you can say. Okay, because a lot of people being using this data science with Python right now. So that's where like this package is also very much useful, and we will also look into this because Matplotlib is something which was being used in the earlier days, but nowadays people are moving to new packages, new tools where it makes your study much more intuitive. So we'll be looking into this package, that is Seaborn. So Seaborn is a visualization tool. Like that, you have some different visualization tool. If you look at some top 10 visualization tool, you will find out like top 10 visualization. If you look into Python, okay, you will find Matplotlib at the top, okay, which is the basic one, okay, which we saw. So now on top of that, only other visualization tools are written, like Seaborn. We'll be looking into Seaborn today. This is a visualization tool like which is being used for all kind of data study. Then we have one more visualization tool called as Bokeh. So we are not practicing this tool here, but still you can look into this package, and once you understand, now you know how to do visualization using Matplotlib. It's very easy in Matplotlib. If you see like plt dot this one hist, plt dot bar for bar plot, plt dot box for box plot. So like that, it's very easy to plot graphs in Matplotlib. Similarly, in Seaborn also it's similar. In Bokeh also it's similar. Just you have to install this package and you can work around this. So like that, PyGirl is there, Plotly is there, Geoplotlib. This is mostly used for geographical visualization, like mostly for maps and all. And Gleam is there. So like that, these are different visualization tools which has come up in Python. But we'll be focusing in one of the top one, that is Seaborn. So we'll be also looking at Seaborn visualization tool today. Now, see, this Seaborn package is pre-installed. We don't have to install it like in Anaconda, or if you are using Colab, Google Colab also by default they also use Seaborn in Colab. Colab, they have already integrated this, so we don't have to install this package. To like suppose if it's not there, you can install it by using pip package manager by saying pip install Seaborn or Conda install Seaborn. But here it's already there, so we will directly import this package and we'll work around that. So now to import the package, you can write this command, import Seaborn SSB. So you can open a new tab, you can write it down as a new notebook, and you can name it as like Seaborn basic. So we'll be practicing Seaborn, and you can import this Seaborn by saying import Seaborn as SB. Okay, like see here, this alias SB I am using, but most of the places you will not find this alias being used. Okay, like Seaborn themselves, they use an alias called as SNS. They use SNS, but those are three words. But I like SB more, so I use SB in all my code. But usually in Seaborn, they use alias SNS. So alias is something which you can give. So that doesn't matter like what you give there. It's just a shortcut we are assigning. So I find this one much more easier to understand than SNS. So I use this SB. So you can import this Seaborn package first, then we will work around on this.
Okay, Sarup, there is a one doubt actually.
Yeah.
Uh, there is a some other external visual other than like quick view, other visualization tools are there like quick view, quick sense, and your I forgot one name also. So
Yeah.
like what is the they also serve the purpose in like machine learning, or like what is the impact of that, or either we can just work on these which is provided by the Python packages, we can work on that.
See, actually, like if you look at the tools, tools are
Hmm.
also very easy to work around. It's just drag and drop. Okay, you just drag and
Okay.
drop. It understands what's there and it gives you the result. Here we have to
Hmm.
write lot of code. Okay, in Python we actually have to write the code. We have to pass X, we have to pre-process X, but there also we do that. But still, visualization is just drag and drop. So it's for like suppose you want to do a visualization very fast and you want to understand more within that rather than spending time in writing code, then it's good. Okay, then it's good to go with like Tableau. Tableau is very much used now, right now. ClickView is also
Hmm.
good. You have Cognos is there, which is being used in mostly European countries. So now these there are different tools which are there. We will also be looking at Tableau. Going ahead, we will look into Tableau visualization. Tableau visualization is like very nice. Okay, like the way they do the data, data interpretation is very good. Like if you just drag and drop your data, and it creates a powerful graph, and those graphs are also very much dynamic. Like you can access, you can filter, you can do whatever you want, and it will be like instant. Okay, like it will be very easy to work around. But here, to do all those specific tasks, to add filters and other things in Python, their coding you don't have to write much. It is very easy to work around. Okay, that's why these tools are being used in most of the companies. If you go to any company, they will ask like, okay, you know at least one tool or not. That's what most of the company are asking. But for data scientist, it's not that much mandatory to learn all the tools. But see, it depends. Again, like some company might use Cognos, some company might use Tableau, but learning a tool is very easy. Like it just takes you like 5 days is enough to learn a tool, because there you will get the basic essence of tool. Within 5 days you can get basic essence of any tool, because those are just drag and drop. Okay, there is not much understanding. Like you just have to know where to find, look for which kind of graph for which kind of scenario. Once you work around in Python also, you will be like catching up all those things, like line plot, bar plot, like pie chart. Okay, all similar kind of plots you will see there also. Okay. Okay, getting.
Yeah, getting. And like, okay.
Okay, you can write down this import Seaborn as SB.
Hello, Kausif, are you there?
Yeah, I am there. I have written this.
Yes, sir, done.
Okay, now see here, this Seaborn package, one more important thing in Seaborn is they are very much particular about colors. Like colors are like Seaborn guys that try to usually solve this problem. That is, one is color, the other one is styling of your graph. Like your graph should be looking good, and it should look good with like right selection of colors. Now see, colors is also a very important part. Okay, we usually neglect those small things. But suppose you have done a data analysis, and you have plotted some graph, and you have not selected the right kind of colors, your brain will usually reject. Like most of the people brain will not like it. Means our brain usually rejects the colors, okay, which are not soothing. So that's where the Seaborn guys also found it to be very much useful thing in Matplotlib. As you saw that we have to explicitly give color every time, saying color equal to this, color equal to that for all kind of graphs. But suppose if someone is not good in color, okay, then the Seaborn guys have provided something called as color palettes. Those also we'll be looking into. So there, there are certain predefined palettes. Like you can use those palettes where it will be like multiple color will be selected for your graph, and it will also match and will look good for your graph. Okay, they have like hundreds of palette like that. So where you can select as per whatever you like, and you can directly implement it. So that's why like Seaborn guys like have made the graphs more attractive, and they have also manipulated some of the basic graph. Like we saw box plot. Okay, like box plot also they have manipulated and made it a like different types of plot you will see out of box plot. So similarly, if you see a distribution plot, like we saw histogram, they have also given different types of plots on top of histogram, where it makes the study much more easier. So now to study to work around in this Seaborn, the Seaborn guys have also thought like it's not there is no fun like visualizing some dummy data. Like if you see in the earlier time, we took some dummy data saying like x equal to 1 2 3, y equal to 3 4 5. Then we started visualizing those dummy data, Here Seaborn guys have given some real-time data sets within their package. So within Seaborn only they have provided some real-time data sets which you can analyze and work around. So to know like what all real-time data sets are there, you can write this command sb.get underscore dataset underscore names. So what it will do, it will connect over the internet and it will look in the Seaborn repository in the Seaborn file storage system, and it will try to see what all data sets are there, and it will show you what all data sets are currently there. Okay, you can write down this code and execute sb dot get underscore data underscore names.
Done.
Okay, done. So it will be showing you different data sets like iris data, then it might be showing you Titanic data, it might be showing you like car crash, diamond data, okay, like the different data. So those are all real-time data sets which are like very famous ones. If you Google also by writing okay this car crash data, okay, like that, if you Google also you'll find out a lot of details about those data sets. So now these guys have given some data sets, and to load any data set, you can load data set in Seaborn by telling sb.load dataset. So here in the next one, what I have done is here I am loading a data set. That data set name is iris. So here, if you see like within the list, it might be showing you this data set iris. So here, print dataset.shape I am doing. So it shows 150 records are there with 5 columns. So this many rows and this many columns are there. And dataset.head shows me like top 5 values within the data. So now here it shows the column name with the top 5 values. So saying first column is sepal length, then we have sepal width, then we have petal length, petal width, then we have species. So now this data belongs to something called as iris flower. So there is a type of class of flower called as iris flower. So now these iris flowers are of 3 types like setosa, versicolor, virginica, like that 3 types of iris flowers are there. So that shows in species, like they're showing species. Species are like type of flower based on length and width of sepal and length and width of petal. It shows which type of flower it is, which species of flower it is. So this is a very good data set, which is one of the most famous data set. If you look in UCI machine learning repository, you will find it. You will find that this iris dataset is the most downloaded dataset there. So this is usually practiced for classification problem. So going ahead, we'll be looking at something called as classification algorithm. So for that, we use this dataset. So here, you can load the dataset by saying sb.load dataset. So what this does, this will first install the file from the internet to your system. Then it will do read CSV on that. Okay, so it's like everything will be done taken care by this function itself. It also converts the file by reading to a data frame. Okay, so now whatever we see here is data frame. Okay, so any doubt here?
Mm, No, no.
Okay, so you can you can load this file.
Yeah, done.
Done. Okay. Okay, next we'll be doing a plot here that's called as distribution plot. We'll be doing this plot on top of this data set. So now distribution plot is used for univariate distribution of data. So now like we have already done univariate distribution of data using a plot in Matplotlib. So can you guys name that plot? Okay, which type of graph did we use for univariate distribution? In Matplotlib we have used a graph.
Astro.
Yes, it is histogram. Okay, histogram is used for univariate distribution. Univariate means continuous variable. Single variable. Uni means single. So single variable which is continuous. So for univariate distribution we use histogram. So here distribution plot is a like a manipulation of histogram. It's the extended version of histogram. So now here distribution plot will be doing on a continuous data. If you take any data like within our data set, we have 4 continuous data here saying sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width. All these are continuous values, and species is our categorical value. So now, so now here you can take any continuous data, any column which is continuous. I have taken here petal length. So here I am saying sb dot dist plot. So cbond dot dist plot, then data set of petal length. So here I am passing my petal length variable, and it gives me the plot here. So now if you look at this plot, it shows you the histogram as well as it shows you some line here. So you can see this line. This line is called as density plot. Okay, it's called as density plot. Density plot means it shows you where data is more dense, where data is less dense, those kind of thing. This is done usually by using probability distribution, which distributes each of the random variable in your data set with respect to probability by saying what's the probability of that value within the data set. So now it shows you like where data is more dense, where data is less dense. So now this line, what you see here, this line like kind of wave. Okay, so this line is a bell, like you can say a bell curve. This also tells you about this thing that is like it's also called as KDE. KDE stands for kernel density estimation. It estimates the density of the data sets, okay, of the data values. So that's why it's also called as KDE, kernel density estimation. So now here distribution plot not only shows you the data in histogram, it also shows the density of the data which is there within your data set. So now you can also try this graph, that is dist plot.
Yeah, done, Shuru.
Okay, see, one more important thing here is like, see, in interviews also, they usually ask, like, which is that plot you use for univariate distribution. You can tell histogram, or in Seaborn, you can also tell that by using Seaborn, we can plot it by something called as dist plot or distribution plot.
Sorry, Swaroop, come again.
See, in interview, they ask you, like, which kind of plot you use for univariate distribution, okay? Univariate distribution means like a single variable which is continuous. For that kind of thing, which plot you use, you can answer saying we can use histogram using mat, also you can tell that using Seaborn we can plot it by using dist plot. There is something called as distribution plot in Seaborn where it shows you histogram as well as the density of the data. Okay, getting?
Yes, sir.
Okay, next, suppose within the graph, like I don't want I don't want the histogram. I just want the distribution. I just want to see the distribution of data. I don't want to see the histogram. Then here you can write hist equals false. Okay, hist equals false means it will not show you histogram. False is a Boolean value. So here f should be capital in false, and it will not show you the histogram here. Okay, so you can try this. Hist equals false. Okay, done.
Yeah, done.
Okay, next, similarly, suppose I just want to see the histogram. I don't want to see this density. Then you can write KDE equals false. KDE stands for kernel density estimation. Okay, so we can make it as false, and here it will not show you the density. It will directly show you the histogram. Okay, you can try this as well.
Yeah, done.
See, there is like one difference between both of the data. Now, if you see when the data is in distribution, it shows your values within 0.0 to 0.25. But when we remove that, it shows the value like 0 to 50. So now this is nothing but this is the actual count of value which you get when you only get the only do the only do the histogram. But when you are doing a KDE, like when you are looking for density, it normalizes your data set. Like everything is same, only here also you can see the distribution is completely same. The only thing is it will normalize your data. Okay, like it will reduce it to some unit scale so that it can use probability, because probability count is always within 0 to 1. Okay, so that's why it will just put it to unit scale. It will just scale your values. Getting?
No, so can you explain one more time as you're not getting? Because see, I can see the difference, and that plot, you can say it's coming as a.
See, that plot and this plot has no difference. Both are same. The only thing is your axis values are different.
Yes, yes. So how
Your
it's happening like?
because see here it's using up density plot. Okay, this density plot is done using probability distribution. Okay,
Okay.
so probability distribution it uses. Now probability is always counted within 0 to 1, right? Probability at
Okay.
any within 0 to 1. 0 means 0%, 1 means
Okay.
100%, right? So
Yeah,
like
yeah,
within
right.
only it is carried. So it reduces the like it just scales your feature. That's all. It just scales
Okay.
your value. Okay.
Okay.
So that's why if you want to look into the actual number, then you can put KDE false to see the actual numbers. Okay, like we can say from 1 to 2 petal length from 1 to 2 is almost 50. Like there are 50 records with petal length 1 to 2. Okay, from 2 to 3 there are almost some 5 records or 2 records like that, which is less than 10. Okay, so like that we
Okay.
can tell. Yeah.
So yeah, it's a number of count, like 50
Yeah.
number of rows or record is available.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Number of count only. Yes.
Yeah, number of.
Okay. Okay, next we will look into color palettes in Seaborn. So we will look into different type of color which you can set. So here see there are some default color palettes which are given in Seaborn. Like some of the default color palettes are like Hustle, HUSL, Winter, Summer, Spring, Autumn. Okay, Autumn is also there. So like that, like these are some default palettes which are there. You can look into like Seaborn package. You can look into like Seaborn documentation. If you look in internet, you will find out like hundreds of palettes like this are there. Suppose I want to set a palette like here in this graph, it looks like red in color, something like this. Like I don't want that color. I want it to be something different. Then here I have written sb.set palette. So on top of your graph, you can write sb.set palette and give a palette name. Then it will use that particular palette for your graph. You can try this. You first write down sb.set palette winter, then you plot the graph. Then you write down the same thing sb.distplot and all, and see what kind of graph you are getting, what color it's coming. Okay, just try this. You can also give spring or hustle like that.
Yeah, clear.
Yeah. Okay, you might be getting a blue color graph, right?
Yeah, so I put a autumn.
Okay, autumn will be, I think, same color. If you try with, I don't know, autumn is same or not. Autumn is same or different color you are getting.
No, different color.
Okay, okay,
It's kind of reddish color.
okay, fine, fine. Okay, so like that, see here, like it's univariate, like single variable is there. That's why one single color is coming. If it will be multivariate, then multiple colors will be coming. Okay, like in autumn also, it's selection of multiple colors that will come. Okay, next we'll be looking at uh, one more plot that is called a scatter plot. So scatter plot we have already seen in matplotlib. It's very much similar here also in Seaborn. Here I am saying sb.set palette winter, then data set of petal length and petal width. So scatter plot is used to check the correlation among the data, to check how correlated your data is. For that we do scatter plot. So here also I have done the scatter plot on two continuous value. Correlation among continuous value only we can check using scatter plot, not categorical data. So here, like when petal length is increasing, how it is affecting the sepal, like petal width. So here we can say that when petal length is increasing, petal width is also increasing. So they are linearly correlated. Okay, so like that we can find out correlation among the data using scatter plot. Seaborn also has the same thing. So you can try this. Actually, the new Seaborn package doesn't have this scatter plot, because matplotlib scatterplot and seaborn scatterplot there is not much difference. but still you can try this, okay, if it works or not. Mine is a old Seaborn version, that's why it works, but you can still try. I think in Google Colab also it will be the old one. If it doesn't work, then you can write plt.scatter instead of sb.scatterplot. You can write plt.scatter like what we did yesterday.
Yeah, it's worked for me.
Okay. Okay, so getting this.
Yeah.
Okay, so next we'll be looking at one more plot. This is called as, okay, before going to this, we will look into different, some other things here. We'll be looking at different color palettes which are there in Seaborn. Now, Seaborn has three types of color palette. Basically, three types are there. Uh, just one second. Okay, now Seaborn has three types of color palette. One is called as qualitative, the other one is sequential color palette, the other one is diverging color palette. So we have three different types of color palette in Seaborn. So now qualitative means it's categorical. Categorical data is also called qualitative data. So category itself means quality, okay, which defines quality of something. So now here, like Seaborn has qualitative color palette. So qualitative will be like each of the value will be categorical, means each of the value will be unique here. Okay, so that is your qualitative. Like multiple colors, okay, different colors will be selected if you take qualitative color palettes. Similarly, the other one is called a sequential. Sequential color palette means it will be a sequence of color, like light green to dark green or light blue to dark blue. Okay, like that, a sequence of colors. So you can pick how many sequence you want, and it will give you that many sequence of that particular color. The other color is called as diverging. Diverging color is like from one color, multiple colors. Okay, from one color, multiple colors diverging. So diverging colors are also universal colors. Like if you look in internet, you will find out BRBG, RDBO, different diverging colors are there. Okay, so here we can use all these types of colors. So now for some of the graphs, qualitative color looks good, like where each of the variable will be in different colors. For some of the graph, sequential color looks good. For some of the graph, diverging color looks good. So here Seaborn guys have also provided us option to select different types of color palettes. So now like we will look into like in this all these qualitative diverging colors, what kind of color we can select. So here, like I have taken saying current palette. Current palette means my existing palette, and here I'm saying SB dot color palette. So SB dot color palette, if you don't pass any variable, any argument here, so this is a method which is also used to create your own colors. So here I'm saying SB dot color palette, then I'm passing bracket. So now see, we saw in Seaborn that you have certain color palettes like winter, summer, all these things. So now these are predetermined, predefined colors, like which people have already created. So similarly here, here suppose you want to define your own color, you want to have a set of color and you want to use it every time within your data set. You can also create those by using this color palette. So here, like I have taken SB dot color palette by default with no argument. So it will just show you what are the different types of color which are there by default. And here to look into what are the different types of color, I am using this pal plot. Now pal plot is a type of graphical visualization which shows you palette, okay, like different unique observations, okay, or unique colors it will be showing here. So pal plot, then I'm passing current palette. So it will pick what values are there in current palette and it will show you that graph. So plt.show to show the graph. So now here you can see like we have different color, like each of the color here is different. Okay, so like that it shows that by default your color palette has qualitative color. Qualitative means each of the colors are different, categorical. Getting?
Yeah.
Okay, you can try this.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, done.
Hello. Done. Okay. So next one is like we will look into sequential color. So now sequential color is it's like sequence of a color. So here like I have taken sb dot color palette, then I'm passing an argument here greens. So with an s you have to pass the color name. So here it shows the sequence of green from light to dark. Okay, so like that it shows the sequence of color. Okay, so this is how you use a sequential color palette within your code. Okay, you can try this as well. Okay, done.
Yes.
Okay, next one you can look into diverging color palette. So here like I'm passing a diverging color name. So if you Google, you will find out all these names of diverging color. Like here, first one I have passed BRBG. BRBG means brown to gray. And here I'm passing the number of palettes also you can pass here. So here I'm saying 8. So it will give you 8 different colors. Okay, starting from brown to gray. So this is called as diverging from one color, multiple colors are coming. So similarly here I have given one more diverging color like RDBU. These are all universal colors, like these are being used by different in different place. So these are some universal color names. These are also called as diverging colors. Okay, you can try both of these.
Yeah, done.
Done. Okay, so these are the different color palettes which we saw. So now we'll be continuing with more plots. Okay, by next class we'll be starting up with more plots that we will do by next class. Okay, so here we will keep it till this. Now, are you guys free to do this one? Like, we'll have a discussion on MCQs, multiple choice questions on pandas. Okay, have you guys
Sir,
prepared
can we
panda?
have on Monday, so including this one, so that we will prepare. We
Yeah,
need to go through today's class and yesterday's class.
yeah, sure. You prepare like this one, that is your pandas. Okay, try to prepare pandas and work around on that. And also, like I have shared you one book, that is Python for data science. There also you can go through that. Like if you have time, anytime you get free time, you can go through that book. And by Monday, we'll be practicing all this. Okay. Okay, so we'll keep it till this. Okay, we'll wind up here. Any doubt in today's class?
No, nothing.
Okay, fine. Okay, then we'll wind up. See you on Monday.